Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and in today's video it is MD-11 time again. Now, a lot of you have been asking on what's going on with the MD-11, why isn't it released yet in the public early access, why is it still in the closed collectors edition owners early access? Well, today we are going to have answers to many of these questions, or rather you can make up those answers by watching the video. Now, it is worth saying that the collector's edition owners haven't seen an update in about a month or so from recording. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 7th of February at 7 and a bit UTC, so it is worth mentioning that. And in that month, TFDI have worked a lot on the autopilot, so a major autopilot update is still in the works, and we are not going to comment on the autopilot in the meantime, so we are going to ignore that for now, knowing that there is an update in progress. Now, I will release the video a couple days after I have recorded it, so if TFDI did in the meantime publish that update, then I do apologize for it, but I can promise that a follow-up video once the autopilot update is there is definitely going to come. Now, with all of that said, let's head straight into the cockpit of our MD-11 and we're going to start working our way around. I'm sure you all still remember this one, so here we go. We're going to start putting up a little bit of electronics over here. So we got to start actually with the electrical power up, and as you can see, we don't have an APU available at the moment, and we don't have a ground power, but let's go ahead and grab one real quick. Let's go over into the services and connect the GPU as well as set the wheel chocks. Alright, now with that done, let's go ahead and have a look into what we can do. So, we're going to start with our cockpit preparation. So, we're going to start with the first officer's cockpit preparation procedure, since that basically includes establishing power to the airplane. So, we're going to start over on the right-hand seat over there. Okay, so let's go for it. The logbook is checked, circuit breakers are checked to be in. The emergency equipment is checked, weather radar is all turned off, the fuel switches are off, all three of them, and the parking brake is currently set. Flap slat handle is up retracted, landing gear lever is down, and then moving to the overhead, we've got the manifold and the dump switches guarded. The emergency power selector is in the off position, and then we can go ahead and turn on the battery and the external power to the plane. Right, let's give it a couple moments to just quickly power up over here before we are going to do the engine and APU fire tests. I think this should be fine.
Engine 1, fire.
Yeah, I've heard enough, thank you very much. And it is rather cold, so let's go ahead and turn on the APU straight away as well. Alright, here we go, that's our APU gauges, and the APU is running up slowly. Alright, very good. Then let's go ahead and do the cargo fire tests. Alright, and then over into the FMS. So it's an MD-11F, CF6 engines are on board, and our database is looking to be current. Alright, so from 2, Echo Hotel Alpha Mike to Echo Golf Shitty Stansted. You know that one by now. And here we go. Alternate is going to be London Heathrow, even though I'm pretty sure they're going to be happy if we divert to Heathrow, but they just gotta live with it. There's always Luton in the area as well, where we can always fly it into. Alright, excellent. So that stuff is done then. So let's go ahead with the first officer's system checks, and for that we'll move back to the first officer's seat. So starting on the top of the overhead panel, cargo fire test has been done. The IRSs are going to start aligning now. CBR test. Still doesn't seem to be a moving needle in there. Okay, so galley buses are set, ignition is all off. Then we can start on the top over here. Hydraulic system test. So that should commence any moment now. Well, obviously, it would commence if I went to the right side. So, hydraulic pressure test in progress, and we'll just let that one commence. I'm not gonna monitor it the entire time. Okay then, going further down to the electrical panel, can put the emergency power into arm, and we'll keep the external power for the moment. Moving down to the bleed air panel, let's turn on the APU bleed in order to actually get a little bit of warmth inside our plane. And that's it. Alright, down to the lights then. Seatbelts, no smoking, emergency lights, nav light armed, looking good. And then finally we get over to the right hand side over here. Nothing to do all over. Fuel used reset and annunciator light test. Now good news over here. Some of the in-up lights we saw in earlier versions are definitely fixed now. Right, so we need traffic, we need airports, and we need VORs as well. We want our QNH to be in hectopascals over here in Europe, like that. By the way, this is the reason I didn't show you the entire hydraulic system test. You can see it's still work in progress. Alright, unfortunately down here we can't change it, so we can't change the QNH on the standby instruments. Got to stick with what we have over here. Alright, then moving further down, auto brakes can go into the takeoff position, and that's mostly it. Alright then, let's start with our FMS setup. For that we're definitely going to move over to the captain's seat now. Alright, so let's go straight over and have a look into what we've got in the electronic flight pack now. So if we go over into the option, then we got Imperial units in this airplane. It's an American one after all, but we'll still go for degrees centigrade. Allow hardware overforce, yes. Automatic seatbelt behavior based on configuration. IRS alignment time realistic. Extended range is disabled. SimRev username is in. So for the systems themselves, automatic NUIs is... Well, let's enable that. There was something in one of the later changelogs there. Okay, digital standbys. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, let's go analog, because why not? Save. Here we go, analog. Now at least we got hectopascals on here. Right, so tape displays disabled. I kind of prefer these. And then single queue flight director disabled, and that is all kind of looking good. Alright, and finally performance. I don't think we need to do anything on here. Just gonna save that and off we go. Alright, then let's see what we got. So import flight plan, and this is looking rather good, isn't it? SimRev plan is not in the same weight units as your plane, but this is in pounds. We just set this to pounds, did we? Let's check that once more. Oh, I think I didn't press save. Okay, that's fair enough then. So, set payload and fuel, and now payload is set. Alright, so it was a legitimate warning. Fair enough. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Now, all I'm missing though is an OFP, but we'll see about it. We will see about it. So, payload page, load is over 100. Well, we'll ignore that. Performance is not in there. Charts. So it once again signed me out of my Navigraph charts, but so be it. Let's go ahead and sign back in then. Scan the QR code. Normally I do like to do this beforehand, but well, so be it. Alright, sign in, approve, and now it should work. So let's just see. If we go to view departure airport charts, Amsterdam, search. Alright, so oh yeah, I remember we couldn't put any sticky in here. Now I remember, yeah. But at least we can zoom now. That is new. But this seems to be maximum. Anyway, we're parking down here, so it's just going to be left out, and then we are almost at the holding point of runway 24. That's really all I need to know, to be honest. Alright, cool, so let's go for it. We're going to be the UPS No, actually we're FedEx. Oopsie. Alright, that's not gonna happen again. Well, probably wouldn't happen again anyway. I'll probably be fired. Alright, so FedEx 9754. Cruise level is just gonna be single one, 240. Cost index 120. Alright, flight plan. Amsterdam, set. Off runway 24. So we've got the Valku 3 Sierra towards Idrit. It is Valku 3 Sierra, insert. And that ends us up at Idrit. Then Mike 40 to Rinnes. Insert, and then we just need the arrival, so that's going to be Shitty Stansted, ILS 22, Rennes 1 Alpha via Abbott, can already select that. Rennes 1 Alpha, here it is. Alright, insert. So that looks fairly familiar in here. Oh yeah, it definitely does. Never done that. Alright, cool, so we'll just copy the active and that's it. Cool, so in it, next page, let's see what we got. We can probably just take it all from the sensors. So 25.5 fuel, 0 fuel weight. Let's see what we got. Estimate 0 fuel weight, 321.1. The 346 for our takeoff weight. Yep, looks about right. Awesome. And the CG, do we have any information about that in here? Doesn't look like it, huh? Perhaps on the payload page? No. Well, no further comment on that. We'll just go for 25. No, we can take it from sensor. Okay, even better, 32.4. And 36.0. Alright, that's making our life easier. So, takeoff approach then. Flaps, let's make it a flap 10 takeoff. And we're going to take 0 slope, 0 wind. And the temperature is 5 degrees centigrade. So, speed's looking good. Packs should be on though. And let's just add a 55 degree flex temperature, because why not? Interesting that the flex temperature doesn't change the takeoff speeds. Normally it should have an influence. But okay, we're just gonna leave it at that. And okay, forecast page is not accessible. Transition altitude looks good. I'll tell you what, we're just gonna leave it on that. 228 miles. Can we check that here somewhere? Doesn't look like it, huh? Okay. Doesn't matter though, we'll just leave it at that, and that's all we need. So on the captain's side then, we'll go hectopascals as well. Probably don't have weather in here, do we? No. Okay, well hopefully that's gonna come with a future update, so we'll just press the B key, shall be good enough. Initial climb probably somewhere about 6,000 or so, I could imagine. Let's just set 6,000. Runway heading should be about 238 or something, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we'll set 240, and what do we have in here? Nothing. Lovely. Okay, down to the airport chart. Okay, 237. There it is. Alright, so, traffic. Oh, the airport key is still not clickable. Would have thought they would have worked on that in the meantime. Okay, so be it though. We're just gonna work with it like that. Alright, cool. So, all that good stuff is basically in. then I'd say we just go ahead with the start procedures. So doors windows closed, auxiliary hydraulic pump 1. If pushback is to be initiated before engine start, turn on the hydraulic pump 1. Okay. So first of all, we'll go GSX, prepare for pushback and departure. Probably going to take him a little while to get that up and running, so let's just make good use of that time, and we are just going to go ahead. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead. Oh, interesting. He's well, we'll keep it at that. Okay, so pushback is to be initiated before the first engine starts. So aux hydraulic pump 1 on. Then parking brake remains set for now. Beacon light can come on. Ignition set A. APU power on. External power off. Okay, so services. You can get rid of the GPU, can get rid of the shocks. What do we just get there? Packs off. Okay, that's fine. ADR system manual. Is it? Well, then we switch it back to auto. Okay, so fuel quantities are looking good for the flight. We're running on the APU power. Ground power is removed. Aux hydraulic pump is running. I do think with that we are pretty much good to go. IRS alignment is also completed. So yeah, tell you what. If only we could see the progress of GSX. Yeah, slowly but steadily getting there. Okay. That is nice. Alright, cool. So now we're literally just waiting for GSX. Okay, pushback facing. Well, where is Sierra 2? Facing Sierra 2 or Sierra 8? Sierra 8, okay. Alright. So, release parking brakes. Parking brakes released. Generator load high. Yeah, I can imagine, but as soon as the engines are running, that should hopefully be solved. Okay, so ready for engine start. So start sequence. It's gonna be 3, 1, 2. So let's start engine 3. By the way, it is worth just listening to those sounds because they seem to be heavily work in progress here. Yeah, something I do hope that. Well, something I'm pretty sure they need to work on before they can do public release. So it's probably going to take a little while. 3 engines to start. Okay, parking brakes are set, clear disconnect, and remove the ground equipment, stand by for engine starts. So, the generator high load is gone now. Okay, engine 1 start. By the way, listen to those sounds again, how sudden the air conditioning sound just came back. Now let's do number 1, and just listen to it again. Looks like this time the sound actually just stays. Okay, so be it. Alright, so... fuel on. Alright, and engine 2 starts. Fuel on. Oh yeah, should have been at 15. Did it right for the first two engines and then for the last one. Ah well. Alright then, we've got 3 good starts, and your clear disconnect, clear sign on the right side with a pin, and... oh well, he's gone anyway already. Alright, so, anti-ice as needed off. APU, I do believe it should. Here we go. Shutting off. Then, hydraulic control panel is an auto, equipment is removed, cabin report received. Alright, let's go. It's interesting that McDonnell Douglas doesn't deploy the flaps in the before taxi procedure, but only once you actually started moving. Okay, so flaps 10. Spoilers. Oops, the other direction, please. Yes, no, maybe? That's interesting. Here we go. Spoilers armed. Okay then, let's bring the airplane onto a straight line and then we can do the flight control track. The plane needed a little bit of breakaway thrust, but now it's taxiing on its own, which is kind of to be expected, honestly, with a long-haul airliner here, which we are running at a pretty low weight on a 30 and a bit minute flight. Alright, and the rudder is moving. I'm not gonna go full deflection here, for what I believe to be an obvious reason. Okay, so we should be pretty much ready to go. So, no cabin crew whom we could tell to prepare for departure, so let's just go ahead, lights on. Don't kill the taxiway lights. Okay, so we'll stop here for a second and let's just go over the takeoff procedure. So we will use FMS speed, nav and profile mode. So nav and profile are armed. Again, to engage the auto thrust, you just press the auto flight button and that's it. Okay. I do believe with that we're pretty much ready to go. So let's go for it. Out of the brakes. Looking for 70%. That vibration is a bit concerning there. Okay, auto flight. Takeoff thrust is being set. 80 knots checked. V1 rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Okay, let's trim it out and then we'll do a little bit of hand flying there. But we will be using the automatics in a few moments. So just in case you skipped forward a little bit, once again the comment on here that TFDI has for the last month been working on getting a rework of the autoflight system out for the collector's edition owners, but that is not released at the point of this recording. So at the point of this recording at least, we still have the older autoflight system. So with that in mind, let's not get too critical about the actual autoflight system. Flaps retract. And slats retract. Flight model feels a little bit strange, like the pitch is very sensitive. On the other hand side, the roll, as you can see, is barely responsive. And the simulator is lagging. Okay. That flight director is a little bit weird there as well. Alright, tell you what. Auto flight on. Continue the climb here. We'll go up to flight level 240 for this flight. And that is set. Man, flying right into the sun. Probably got to get a couple of those lights out, shall we? And here we go. Alright, cool. So, we are up in the air. Then, spoilers disarmed, auto brake off. Flap takeoff selector. Okay, you can only do this with a mouse wheel. And looks like I cannot rotate it below 10. Okay, so be it. So, passing 10,000. Signs auto lights off. Right, accelerating nicely. That's a good trend vector there. The plane surely got power, that's out of question. But that is exactly what I would expect from an airplane like this. The sounds, well, could use some work. That's probably the best thing to say there. The sounds could use some work. Okay, so we're up and climbing. Let's have a look from the outside. It's beautiful to see that MD-11 in action. Beautiful airplane, isn't it? Okay then. Just tell me something. I'm looking at the wings here. That's why I've been quiet for a bit. I mean, you're probably happy that I just shut up for a moment, but I'm just looking at the wings here, and it looks like they don't really bend upwards, do they? Tell you what. Autopilot off for a moment. I just want to see something. Let's see, do they bend if we just... Oh, wow. Alright, I'm just pulling a couple of really strong G's here. Okay, there is no wing flex implemented. Wow. Okay, autoflight back on. Oh, what's that doing? That was interesting. Okay, we'll try once more. Did you see that the displays just became really laggy, and when I engaged the autopilot in that situation, it basically lost control of the plane immediately and disconnected? Really no idea what caused that, but it's the first time I see this with this airplane. Even though I have to admit I'm not flying it for too long. Alright, anyway. So that's almost approaching the 3-to-1 rule over here. Let's go for it. Why does vertical speed engage at 0 and not at the present? Okay, plus 3000, here we go. Okay, plus 2000. And then you can see we are approaching our top of descent already. As I mentioned though, don't look too much at the behavior of the autopilot over here. Because that is work in progress. Should hopefully come out any moment, but you can be sure that when the autopilot update is in the plane, then I'm going to then I'm definitely going to do an updated video. Right, 1000 to go. Checked. So, top of climb, here it is, flat level 240. And then we got like 50 miles to the top of descent. The good thing is I'm so familiar with the Stansted, I don't really see that is going to take a long time to set up. So, EGSS, here we are. Star Rinus 1 Alpha, where is it? Here we go. So, Rinus 220, Idc 180, Lepra. Yeah, sounds very familiar. Mostly flew the Tosva 1 Alpha arrival from my former home base, but, you know, whether you fly from Rinus to Idc or from Tosva, doesn't make that much of a difference, does it? Alright, so 240, here we are. It changed over to holding a Mach number rather than holding an indicated airspeed. That's what the 737 would have done as well, though of course this isn't one. Okay, so let's say we do a flap 35 landing here, no need for flap 50. Auto brake medium so that we don't vacate too late in. And finally, what else do we need? The routing, I believe, should be correct already. Let's just be sure to remove that holding. And tell you what, let's remove the Abbott restriction there as well. It's not at flight level 80, this should be below flight level 80. I just have no idea how to enter that in the MD-11, so let's find out. Alright, tell you what. Nobody cares about that restriction anyway. Aha! Vertical revision at or below 8,000. That's looking better. Alright. We will take that. So that's how you enter it. Okay. Well, that one goes on me then. Okay. So, fixed rings. Maybe we can do something there as well. Stansted, and we're looking for a /25 in this airplane then, or yeah, looks like it. Alright. Awesome, so with that we're pretty much set up. Go around references. Tell you what, happy with all that stuff. Do we happen to have any sun shields? Doesn't look like it, huh? Okay. Well, fair enough, honestly. Oh, that's where you can get rid of the EFB. But, tell you honestly, I'd rather have one than not have one. So, approach is going to be an ILS 22. Let's grab that shot. Minimum is 548. Okay, that's going to be a little bit of turning right now. I wonder if there's going to be any shortcut for doing flights to Quito and stuff like that. Could imagine a lot of people to take the freighter on that Pilot's ITV route from Lufthansa, where they flew it down to South America and flew to all these high altitude airports. I do hope they are going to improve that way to set the minimums. Okay, so with that, I would say we are pretty much all prepared and all ready to start our descent towards Stansted, and we still got 20 miles to run. Very nice. So how long are we in the air now? 11 minutes. Wow. And we're already in cruise level. We're already done with the approach preparation. That is pretty cool. So let's have a quick look into the other parts of the cockpit, which we're a little bit laggy here. I guess the cockpit door still can't be opened, can it? No. Even though there is a fair, good-looking part of the cabin behind here. So that also deserves mentioning, does it? This is looking pretty cool, especially the floor texture here. I like that one especially. Going over to the other side then. Well, cargo hold seems to be empty. I sure hope it isn't, even though we didn't take that much freight. So, supernumerary seats down here, looking pretty good as well. I do remember in one of the first versions there used to be some issues with this, but if we have a look around now, then this looks fairly good detail, and certainly looks like a seat where I could imagine spending some 9 or 10 hours of flight time, right? Even though it has to feel really strange to do the takeoff facing backwards. I really wish I could fly an airplane once, and probably only once. Anything in here? Yeah, lovely view out the toilet. I suppose that doesn't count though. The only thing that's missing is the flight deck door texture. But okay, back inside. Honestly, if I were a supernumerary on an airplane like this, I would probably spend my time right over here, rather than spending it in the back. Even though the seat in the back is probably more comfy, but honestly, this is a very nice seat over here. I mean, you can put a laptop up here and just have some fun. There's probably even gonna be a proper power plug somewhere in this cockpit. Or at least I could imagine so, that they retrofitted these, at least for the maintenance computers. But okay, that's actually pretty nice. Then let's go ahead and select that altitude down. Maybe we start with flight level 70 or something the likes. Profile mode should be on. So let's move back to the captain's seat and have a look at what's gonna happen when we overfly the top of descent. But man, that observer seat here, that's a really nice seat. And having that workplace with a table, that's just great. That is just really great. I do like that. Okay, so profile to 24,000 is still the active mode. Let's see if that's going to change in a moment. Here it does. Okay, profile 22,000. That's because of the readiness restriction. So again, don't watch the autopilot modes too closely there. I'm just making sure that the airplane does actually follow what we want it to do. But don't watch them too closely because, as I mentioned earlier, the airplane is a little bit work in progress still. And especially the autopilot modes are basically being reworked as we are talking. And as soon as there is an update available that includes the new autopilot tweaks, I'm definitely going to post an updated video on that. So first impression then to the top of descent. Well, the airplane did do what it was supposed to do for the most parts here. So I am rather happy with that. However, there are a few things like that autopilot issue we had, that screen lag we had. The sounds most definitely do need some updates, and a little bit of stuff like that. But overall, it's hard to estimate really as to when the airplane might release to public. For sure, in my opinion, they should do something about those sounds before releasing the public early access edition. When the sounds have been worked on, the flight model is also one of those things. To my knowledge, it's still the placeholder flight model, but please do correct me if I'm wrong on that. So hopefully they are going to do a little bit updated flight model there as well. Certainly rotation felt a little bit interesting, but hopefully that is going to see an update. And yeah, when those basic three things are done, like autopilot, flight model, and sounds, that's probably, at least from my experience until now with it, that is probably when they could think about releasing the public version. So obviously they did say back in the day that we are supposed to get at least 90 minutes to get at not 90 minutes, at least 90 days of early access. For the Collector's Edition owners. Alright, now it's catching the profile back. That's hopefully something that's going to be part of the autopilot updates we're going to see. Now, I do hope that they are going to make it proper before releasing it to the entire public. But that's just something I have in my mind that should hopefully get dealt with. Alright. So, starting the descent, and, well, classic Stansted, I would say. Classic Stansted. It's interesting. Look at that. The I'm not sure if that's going to be part of the autopilot modes, because it seems like VNAV logic instead. The plane seems to be leveling off. But look at that, Idiocy 0 miles. That doesn't make sense. We're still some 5 miles from Idiocy. Okay, something is wrong there. So, from Rennes to Idiocy. But look at that, literally showing 0. Oh, and I flew on QNH the entire time. Is the plane not supposed to give me a warning? I mean, when you accidentally leave it on QNH for the entire flight, like me, idiot, just did, aren't you supposed to get a warning when you're above transition altitude? Well. Okay, so continuing the descent past Idisea. Interesting, it immediately tells me at drag. I mean, we've got 30 miles to Lapra. Why does it want to reduce the speed to the target 250 now? So, to put something in a context here, when people hear autopilot update, people often think about it like, you know, like everything you see here is autopilot. It's not. What you see here is mostly VNAV that is doing strange things now, and not the autopilot. I'm not 100% sure if VNAV is going to be part of the update package that TFDI are working on at the moment, but I do believe they are. I do believe I read something about that in Discord, that they got this on their agenda as well. Okay, so we got about 60 miles to fly, 15,000 feet. That does seem rather okay to me. Interesting rate of descent though, with almost 5,000 feet a minute. And that's what it looks like from the outside. By the way, look down here with all those windmills that we see. That's quite nice. That is really quite nice. And indeed, you do see that many windmills over the North Sea in the real world as well. Okay, getting onto the profile over here. Okay. So, level in 12,000. Well, we should only be in 12,000 by the time we reach Lapra, but look at that, again, it tells me 0 miles to go to Lapra. What if we just take ourselves a direct to go there? There's Lapra, enter. Now the mileage is correct again. I'll tell you what, let's do what they do in the real Stansted, go direct to Abbott. Let's see how the descent is gonna handle this one. Roll for the 4,000, they say. Yeah, that sounds about right. So down we go. Now it's starting a slow descent. Well, looks interesting, but honestly, let's just get down and that shall be it. So let's just do an idle thrust descent here. Pitch idle. We'll take the speed back towards 250, and that should hopefully give us a halfway decent descent profile. So, signs coming on, lights coming on, and here we go. So speed coming back nicely, even though it does feel like the airplane could use a little bit less drag in the descent, like 5,000 feet a minute at 310 knots is rather extreme without the use of speed brakes. Obviously I did not use the speed brakes when I got that rate. So that's something that hopefully they will eventually start working on. By the way, a weather radar switch over here doesn't seem to do anything for now. So 250 knots idle descent, 2,700 feet a minute. Yeah, that's a little bit extreme for my taste. Let's just do minus 1,000. That should be fair enough. Okay, below 10,000, lights on, belts on, fuel is looking good. Perfect. What else can you possibly ask for? And don't tell me an increase in salary. I obviously want that as well, but that's not for here. So let's keep an eye on the mileage towards Abbott. I mean, we're flying a direct segment right now. Perhaps that just gives us different indications than what we had previously, because I really didn't see it earlier. I really didn't see what happened there when we overflew waypoint and then all of a sudden it showed 0 miles to the next one. If anybody of you wants to rewind the video and have a look at to when the distance to the next waypoint jumped around, then feel free. And in the meantime, let's go back to profile, see how it's going to intercept this. Only the speed, I'm going to keep it on selected 250 now, because that does seem to be a rather good speed for the plane, for now. In the real Stansted, you know, they would probably go mad at you like, oh, speed 220 and blah 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 blah. But tell you honestly, either that or they go just, yeah, speed 300 or greater. Well, okay, so 7,000 and a bit. Stands at QNH. Well, let's just press B. Still gives me 1006. So that's probably good enough. I just wish we had some sunshades available, because the sun is really shining straight into our eyes here. But look at that. Really neat views outside. It's an awesome looking plane, that much I have to say. Beautiful looking, really beautiful looking. By the way, nice to see that in the model they got the two windows, one at the leading edge and one at the trailing edge. And then you've got that old emergency exit door there as well, because the airplane we're flying right now probably is a converted passenger aircraft. I'm not 100% sure as to how McDonnell Douglas did it in the past, whether they just built all the freighters as passenger planes and then just plucked the windows, but with the emergency exit and stuff still in place, or if they actually just, you know, did it the easy way and just built the fuselage without the windows and stuff like that. But, well, suppose we're gonna find out. I just don't even want to return to the cockpit right now. This looks so beautiful. Let's just take a moment to enjoy these views, shall we? Really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Alright, I do have a feeling that we just need to return to the cockpit though. As much as I enjoy this view, let's see what our plane is doing. So we're just 4 miles from Abbott and 5,000 feet. Well, that is usually a good moment to start descending a little bit quicker. So down to 2,500. We'll do that in idle mode, and then we can already start our initial speed reduction here. Oh, this route looks interesting though. Really no clue what it's drawing there. Abbott, Barkway 20. Well, let's get rid of the Barkway 20 probably. Let's just do direct to the center fix. This is better. This is much better. Right, so let's start the speed reduction. We'll go with 220 at first. So 220 and then you pull it out, isn't it? Yeah, seems like it. Alright then, so let's extend. And I do believe we should have dialed 15 into here. So, landing straight into the sun, that's gonna be interesting. Man, those rate of descents here surely aren't right. Terrain noted. I'll just let the plane level off there now. I can't be bothered. Okay. Approach mode is armed. Okay, speed down 180. Flaps 15. So, let's see how the airplane is going to intercept the ILS now. Even though I tell you what, let's see how we are going to intercept the ILS now. And let's see what happens when I put it to FMS speed. Well, let's not do it that slow. 165 till 4, that is what they usually do in Stansted. Okay, so approach. Why is there? Yeah, that page surely doesn't look correct. Okay, nope, that is not suitable for flying. Not sure where that white line here comes. Oh, that's the heading line, is it? Okay, set runway heading 222. Glide slope is alive. That flight director is interesting. Flight director, well, I do suppose that's part of the autopilot mods. So I do hope that that's gonna be fine. Alright, glide slope capture. Go around altitude 3000 set. Gear down, flaps 28. And now we can go to FMS speed. And flaps 35. Alright, the pitch is slightly below the horizon. By the time we're properly established, it's probably about 0 and a bit degrees. So that looks just about alright. I would say this is alright. Let's take this view for the landing. So localizer, glide slope, dual land. I wonder why dual land. I mean, is it dual flight director? Because the autopilot definitely is off. But we'll see about it. We will see about it. that was a little bit too strong. Checked. And we are stable. Just the spoilers aren't armed yet. Here we go. So landing checklist. Yeah, ECAM memo, ICAS memo, however you call it in the MD-11, is landing no blue. It's actually pretty beautiful, isn't it? Just gotta take a little screenshot there. And we managed to take it without losing the glide clip completely. Checked.
200 minimum.
Continue. On the puppies.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, we touched down on the 10. That's interesting. Stay down, nose. Look at that, speed target 5 knots. Interesting. Alright, manual brakes. IBS disarmed. I'm going to take the next exit to the left onto Lima Romeo. In the 737 they would have been scolding us now for taking the second exit and not the first one, but in a heavy aircraft I can't be bothered. Alright, let's get that speed down. This is maximum braking right now. Interesting. Doesn't look like the MD-11 has a lot of braking power. Okay then, let's get off the runway, then we'll turn second left onto Juliet. Well, this is maximum tiller input right now. This is full input to the left. Okay, well, we made it. We're off the runway, at least. And the plane is reusable. Probably needs a bit of maintenance, but it is reusable. That's the most important point. Only the maximum tiller input. That is really screwed. I mean, this is maximum right now. I really got problems keeping the airplane even on the taxiway. I wonder how we're gonna turn it into the gate, but we'll figure something out. Probably with the help of a little bit of differential braking. Like, I just used full differential braking to get it into this turn as well, so we'll see about it. Okay then, let's give it a little bit of power. Up to 30 knots. And then, well, here we are. This looks quite nice as well. Okay, starting the APU. I have to say the automation level of the MD-11 is quite amazing. You can do things so incredibly easily. Like APU start, one push up a button away. And just look at the after landing procedure, like we didn't really do too much, did we? I mean, to be totally fair, we probably should have done something more. I totally get that, and I do have to say, yeah, you're probably right when you say that. But still, you know, for its time, it's an incredibly automated aircraft. I mean, many people say that the MD-11 is actually more complex than an Airbus aircraft. And, well, that means a lot. Okay, so down to 10 knots. So maximum right input. And that is not a lot that we're getting out of it. Well, let me help with the engines. It almost feels like prior to the departure we got, you know, a very good airplane reaction, but after landing it almost feels like the rudder pedals are limited to 7 degrees nose wheel steering, as they would in the real world, but with the tiller then, you know, obviously in the real world you would have the tiller then. Okay, 213 is going to be our gauge. Once it's in the turn, it's actually okay, but you really got to get it in there, and for that I had to use differential braking. That is strange. But anyway, we're getting there, slowly but steadily. Okay, so that does even look like it was an almost good lineup with the taxiway center line. Come on, I'm rather heavily in the brakes here. I don't know, the control of the airplane is completely different after landing than it used to be on taxi out in Amsterdam. Really no idea why that is. But okay, so APU power avail. 1, 2, 3. And here we are. I mean, did you hear that difference in sound again? That was a little bit strange. Well, we'll put the APU bleed on, and that's hopefully going to solve it. So, taxi light off, beacon light off, seatbelts and no smoking signs off, and that should be it already. So, thank you very much for flying along, everyone. My feedback of the MD-11 then, in its present version, well, we can understand why it's not released yet outside of the Collector's Edition owners. It definitely does need a little bit more attention before it can get released. However, there is progress visible, and I'm fairly positive that TFDI is going to have a superb autopilot update coming up. When that is out, I am going to update you guys with a new video, and I surely hope that it's not going to be off for too long. Now, when exactly the airplane is going to go into the public pre-sale is something that I cannot say quite yet. For sure, the airplane does show some very good first impressions, but there is also a little bit more that they still need to do in order to really get it to, you know, a good level. So hard to make any estimations there. I guess only TFDI themselves will know when the airplane is going to go into the public pre-sale or into the public release then of the earlier pre-sale, but we will have to see about it. I do hope they don't release it too early, because it might easily turn people down from the plane, because right now we still need to do quite a bit of workarounds, even though those workarounds do usually work, and you know, we could fly the airplane from A to B, but it would be nice if it would do all the automation of the real MD-11 just. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then do let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video as well, as it does really help out the channel. And if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and if you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.